Falcons have had 5 games that have come down to the final play. There's Giants coach Pat Shermer's first year. The NFC East, Cowboys and Eagles lost. Redskins still on top. And the Falcons, Dan Quinn. The NFC South, always a great challenge. Saint offense is rolling. Panthers coming off that comeback win against Philly. And Michael Vick, the honor as tonight's Falcons game conductor, ringing that train horn. Chipper Jones and President Jimmy Carter have been train conductors for the new tradition in Atlanta. The Giants won the toss. They deferred. So the Falcons will receive. It's been one of those seasons for the Falcons, dealing with injuries, sitting at 2-4. You know all the drama concerning the Giants. 1-5. Roses will get the night started. Marvin Hall on the return. As he is taken down hard. First hit at the 22 by Eli Apple. 27-yard return. 11th season for Matt Ryan. Here's Matty Ice on the pressure to win.
Pressure is what it is. I've always had expectations for myself that I think far exceed outside expectations. I've never worried too much about other people's opinions or the pressure that they're trying to put on you.
Joe, I expect this offense to come out, get the running game established, and then, of course, the play action. They've been unbelievable all year with their play action passing game.
At running game without Devontae Freeman, he's on the IR. It's Tevin Coleman who is the starter. There's play action right away. And there's Julio Jones right away. We see every level of this play action.
Yeah, this play action, one of the things they do is get him outside the pocket and then come back with guys going different ways. You're going to see Julio Jones. He's going to come here. He's going to go back across. It's the play action fake and then being able to get out on the perimeter with him. These defensive ends on the backside, Joe, they don't know how to play it. By the time they realize it, good luck, because Julio Jones already got the corner.
And constantly compromised there. And when Julio gets that corner, watch out.
Well, that's what he does best, guys. They want to get him the football on the run so he can show his explosive ability.
Here's Coleman. And look at Coleman go. 2 plays, 2 first downs.
Yeah, we saw him in practice. This guy's explosive. You know, it's amazing. You look at the stats. He's only averaging 3.6 yards a carry, but he's an explosive player. Runs like this is what they're looking for early in the game, and now up-tempo offense.
Ryan looked left, looked right, and then the pressure got to him with Kareem Martin. Of course, a couple years ago, the NFL MVP, 2016. For Matt Ryan. Then the drop-off last year was Steve Sarkisian's first year as the play caller. Now Dan Quinn says, hey, listen, here's the bottom line with this guy. Says, nice image, I know clean cut, but he's a wolf in sheep's clothing. You cross that white line with Matt Ryan, he's all about fiery competition.
He is. He's a competitor. He loves this offense. I think year 2 in Steve Sarkisian's offense, as the offense coordinator, he's comfortable in it. And you're seeing that showing up with all the different things they're trying to do in the passing game.
Second and 10. Coleman taken down for a loss of 1. It was Martin and Riley getting involved there. Well, this Atlanta offense, the center is outstanding. Alex Mack, always reliable. And then, of course, the skill positions. And, Boog, you said it. Find me a better 3 than Jones, Ridley, and Sanu.
Yeah, I don't think you can, Joe. And Matt Ryan uses his weapons very, very well. Explosive offense they have here in Atlanta.
3rd down and 11 now. Ryan pressured again and taken down. And this is really what the Giants want to see, a pass rush.
Yeah, they haven't had much of it this year. You know, they've only had 7 sacks. Kerry Wynn being able to come in here and rush the passer like this. Right here, he's going inside. He's really a defensive end. He's going to come inside and play tackle. Uses his length, gets on the edge. They talked about creating pressure from the inside, not always on the edge, making Matt Ryan feel that inside the pocket. That's really good by the Giants defense, getting that pressure.
Matt Bosher, who's never had a punt return for a touchdown. The newly signed Quadri Henderson from the 11. as Henderson dives ahead for an 8-yard return. Eli Manning and that much talked about Giants offense when we return. 37-year-old two-time Super Bowl MVP is Eli Manning. Here he is on the situation they've been dealing with at 1-5.
Obviously, not where we want to be. Frustrated, like everybody. My confidence in myself is good. Still feel good about our squad and what we have. In the NFL, you take it one game at a time. So that's all we can do. Try to fight our way back. We're going to go compete.
And what an opportunity tonight, going against one of the worst defenses statistically in the Atlanta Falcons. This game, he needs to get the running game established, and those quick throws, let his receivers do it, run after catch.
And then there's this guy, Saquon Barkley, who is ridden down by Campbell.
That's what this offense has to do. They got to get Saquon going. They know how special he is. He's not getting enough attempts. The reason why is because they're just behind in these games. He's a dynamic player. That's one of the things I saw earlier in the year. They were running this inside zone. We talked about the offensive line, the poor play. I like what Shermer's trying to do, getting him on the perimeter so that he can use his legs.
You know, with Saquon, he's got to learn that every carry can't be a home run. He's got to take the 3 to 4 to 5 yard carries and get the home runs later.
Take what it's blocked for. 2nd and 7, and in stride, Manning completes the first ball of the night to Odell Beckham Jr.
I really like to see that. This quick passing game. They've got a lot of heat for it, but that's what they do best. Get these weapons outside, get it out of his hands quickly. You see Wheeler in his pocket. He's getting knocked back into him. You're seeing Odell working at the line of scrimmage. They're playing outside leverage, and he has the quickness and big-time playmaking ability once he gets in his hands.
You know, and you set the tone here, because this could be like a remedy matchup with who's missing right in the middle of that Falcons defense. Guys, we'll get into that in a moment here as to the impact that has on this matchup.
Sword left.
Here's Barkley out of the backfield as he's forced out by Oluokun.
You know, everyone talks about Eli Manning, and the big question is Eli Manning done? What's happening? When I watch the tape, here's what I see from Eli. I see a quarterback that can't move in the pocket. He's an iron deer on the front lawn, and everyone knows that, and so they come after him. And Eli Manning is starting to watch the rush a little bit with, and as a quarterback, you just can't do that.
Yeah, Bug, and the reason why he's watching that rush is because his line's been so poor this season. They haven't protected well. They're taking turns. But I'm with you. He needs to get his eyes off the rush, look down the field, and make those plays.
Second and 7. Once again, it's Odell Beckham Jr. So the Manning to OBJ connection is working out in this opening drive. 16 yards there.
I really like what they're doing there. Eli likes his play action. One of the things you want to slow down that rush, get your max protection, and allow him to stand in the pocket. These in cuts, because the way they turn and play defense, you see Albert there, they turn to the sideline and they give you those in cuts. And by doing that, that's what one of the best routes that Odell runs is slants, digs, anything in breaker.
But watch Eli Manning's footwork on that throw. He stepped up and he threw off his front foot. Hasn't been doing that lately.
Barkley in the slot. They like him in there.
Pressure gets to him, and taken down for the 21st time this year. Eli Manning is sacked.
And they wanted pressure from the inside from Atlanta. The guy that's been gone for 2 games, but he's back now. Grady Jarrett, number 97, working inside against the poor guards. Will Hernandez, you can't get beat inside. Just like a crossover in basketball, you go outside, you come back inside, call that a jab or lay. Atlanta Falcons fans, it's good to have Grady Jarrett back.
Eli's never been that. That's not been his game. You try to get him off the paint, outside the pocket. That's not what he does well, and that's what they want to do. Come inside, center guards, attack those guys in the middle.
We've got a timeout used by Atlanta. Now, you mentioned a Jabot-Lay. You saw that sack given up moments ago. There are changes on that offensive line. Spencer Pulley, now the 3rd center in 7 games. John Greco moves over to play right guard. We're very happy when it comes to the skill position to welcome back the guy in the bottom of your screen there, the tight end, Evan Ingram. He has been out the last 3 weeks. He's a difference maker for them with.
Yeah, he is. He's got good speed. He can attack vertical. in the play action game, I expected him to get going across the middle on those deep overs going against this Atlanta defense. But this is what they got to stay away from. They get these sacks, and now they're in second and long, you know, and they're playing from behind too much.
And it's important to watch Eli. He's gotten sacked. Now can he keep his eyes off the rush and down the field? Important for you to watch at home. Watch his eyes.
Second and 17, trying to get some of it back with Barkley out of the backfield, able to tiptoe and keep his balance. It'll be third and long. Now, Saquon Barkley, number 2 overall pick in this loaded 2018 draft. 823 yards from scrimmage. He has been statistically sensational and eye-popping when it comes to the highlights. Had that 55-yarder, that reception screen pass against the Eagles last week that people are still talking about.
Yeah, I think he made 9 guys miss on that play.
Amazing.
I think he did.
This is pro football.
7th play of the drive, 3rd and 11. They come with a safety blitz. Quickly it gets it to Barkley, and Barkley will be well short as he was forced out by Desmond Trufant.
And that's my point. I recognize that Eli hasn't played well this season. But you saw in that play, everybody's like, they threw it short. You're not going to get the first down by doing that. He didn't have time. And they're getting walked back into his lap. And when that happens, he understands the clock in his head. You see it right there. Nate Solder missing on the outside. Takk McKinley closing the edge. And the clock goes off in his head, said, I got to get it out of my hands. He cannot take those sacks. Good decision by Eli.
So on the punt is Riley Dixon. Spent a few years with the Broncos. Happy to come back east. He's an upstate New York guy from CBA Syracuse. And he's going to pin one inside the 10 here. Look at that punt by Riley Dixon. Great job on coverage by Hamilton to get down there and pin him as well. In a hole will be the Falcons offense. Be the host of the Super Bowl come February 3rd. Celebrities already showing up though. Vander Holyfield, local legend, of course, the 4-time heavyweight champ of the world. Prime time, shaking a lot of hands down there on the sideline. Pro Football Hall of Famer. So in his own end zone is Matt Ryan. And right away looking for Julio Jones for breathing room and finding it.
Joe, that's incredible. That's just a quick 10-yard out. He full speeds it and then just puts his right foot in the ground and comes out. Watch, they're playing off. Boom. You do not see receivers run routes like that consistently at that size. And it's like throw and catch, almost like defense isn't even out there. Routes on air.
The way he drives the cornerback off the line creates that space too. So aggressive from the start.
He treats everything like a go route, like all great receivers do. Everything's going on the go route, and then he breaks out of it. Transition out of the cuts. He's special.
3 tight ends now with Tevin Coleman as the lone back. And Coleman will make his way for 4 yards. Giants defense, of course, has one of the best run stoppers in the league with Snacks Harrison. The linebackers, Olivier Vernon, was out injured for the first 5 games. Some of the question marks are in the defensive backfield. We just saw that with Janoris Jenkins. 2nd and 6. Flag is down as Ryan goes downfield and connects with Jones again. This could be coming back as Jones is taken down at the 40-yard line from behind by Alec Ogletree.
It's the power of that play action, though. They're really trying to sneak tight end Hooper out the backside. And Giants covered, they're aware of it, and then he just starts playing ball.
You know, you got to love the athletic ability of Matt Ryan, the ability to get out on the edge and create.
Holding off number 85. Penalty be assessed, half the distance to the goal, and repeat, 2nd down.
Tony Corrente is the referee, who, Boog, you remember well because he officiated your Super Bowl victory, Super Bowl 41.
Like Tony Corrente.
Of course you do.
Love him. And it's interesting so far. Matt Ryan has went hurry up a couple of times. Talking to people, Matt Ryan likes to get to the line of scrimmage and call his own plays. Anytime they get in a hurry up situation, Matt Ryan feel like he's in more control in that situation. Look for it a lot tonight.
Ito Smith now the running back. The rookie from Southern Miss is flanking Matt Ryan. 2nd and 15 after the penalty.
They're landing Collins off this edge.
Quick strike off the play action, and Ridley weaving his way as he continues on. What a great looking productive rookie out of Alabama.
we talked about the ability to have Julio Jones and Mohamed Sanu. They have the best trio of receivers in the National Football League, and this guy is the guy that completes it. Calvin Ridley can run any route on the route tree, but it's his explosiveness, the ability to get the run after the catch that makes him special.
You know, though, we talk about the play action. They have levels of play action, and that's level 1. You saw there, I pointed out that Landon Collins blitzed off the edge. He was unblocked, but it doesn't matter. That's how quickly that ball's coming out.
They like to label that a faith throw, right, Whit?
It is a faith throw because you don't know where that linebacker's going to be. You just have to have faith he's going to play the run.
Here he comes, and there goes Ryan down as B.W. Webb was darting in.
But I like James Betcher, defensive coordinator for the Giants. He knows he needs to bring more pressure. They haven't been able to get sacks up front with their 4-man rush consistently enough. But then here comes B.W. Webb off the edge, unblocked. And Matt Ryan makes a good decision just going down. At that point, nothing else he can do. But bring in these pressures. You saw Landon Collins come the prior play, and now B.W. Webb off the slot. That's what he has to do when he's calling this game tonight.
There's Betcher, the 39-year-old. He was the DC in Arizona for the last 3 years. A couple years ago, his Cards defense led the NFL with 48 sacks. 2nd and 22 now, as Hall tried to get to the corner. I brought up Calvin Ridley moments ago. It's so interesting, the idea of like drafting to a strength. You already have Sanu and Julio Jones, and he fits right in. 6 receiving touchdowns already this year.
Yeah, I mean, he's been an added dimension to this offense. You know, a lot of people thought when they drafted him, like, man, there's so many other needs. Right. Look at that defense. There's a lot of areas we can improve, but he's brought something to it because he's not as big as them, but you saw his route running. He's dynamic in his double moves.
I agree. Nice compliment here. 3rd and 13. This is where they could use him. Shallow cross. It's Sanu, and it's a first down for the Falcons.
And then
little John going on with Landon Collins.
But the part of this, what they're doing is they have levels to their offense. You're going to see them here. They're going to come. Sanu sees it right there, and Alec Ogletree's got to pick that up. That's a nice matchup for Atlanta. They say, okay, you're going to play your middle linebacker on our number 2 receiver. We'll take that all day. And then if you saw there, Ridley was coming in behind there, the levels of it. And Matt Ryan just takes a deep breath and reads it out.
Look, he plays with a little nastiness, too. He's a tough football player, isn't he, Sanu?
Yeah, especially when he gets the ball. He turns into a running back, and that's what makes him special across the middle.
Not much there at all for Smith. Taken down right behind the line of scrimmage by B.J. Hill. Well, Mohamed Sanu is the son of immigrants from Sierra Leone. There's his mom, Aminata. He was a triple option quarterback at South Brunswick High School in New Jersey. A pretty good thrower of the ball. 6 for 6 in the NFL whip.
We talked about that last week about Aaron Rodgers and how his release point. Sanu's, that's textbook right there.
We found the other guy whip. And quickly he goes to Hooper, and you hear the hoops. As that's right at midfield. You said last week that high release point, you got Brady, you got Rodgers. We found the 3rd guy who's got it now. He's a wide receiver in Atlanta, Sanu.
Yeah, and he can do it all. You know, he came here really to be a number 2 receiver, and he is that, but he's probably one of the best in the league at what he does. I mean, you mentioned he blocks, he's physical, he's tough. He's a really good route runner. When I watch him on tape, how he stems and uses his leverage to get himself open, and then, of course, his size.
Leaves him with a 3rd and 2, 9th play of this drive that, remember, started at the 1-yard line. And they got out of trouble with that quick pass to Julio Jones. Ryan taken down again. This defensive front is having success. Lorenzo Carter, welcome back to Georgia, the former Bulldog.
And they've been looking for somebody opposite Olivier Vernon, who's a guy who came back after the high ankle sprain, and he balled out last week. Here's Lorenzo Carter. He just takes him up the field, and he doesn't go past the quarterback. Most guys do that. He comes back underneath the level rush and gets the sack. Nice move. Need to see more of that out of him to complement Olivier Vernon.
So Bosher on to punt. Henderson freshly signed off the practice squad as he gets the fair catch right near the 10. Scoreless early on here in Atlanta. Stick around. More Monday Night Football. ESPN's Monday Night Football is brought to you by GMC. Live like a pro. Tonight's aerial coverage brought to you by Goodyear. In what will be this year's Super Bowl city, Atlanta. No team has ever played the Super Bowl on their home field. Barkley met right away.
You watch Saquon Barkley on tape, and everyone is wild by the wild plays. And I'm trying to figure out, who does this guy remind me of? Everyone says Barry Sanders, but you look at his thighs. His thighs remind me of Earl Campbell, but his moves remind you of Barry Sanders. I think he's a combination of both of those guys, Whit.
Yeah, he's the best of all these running backs combined in one. Because he has this, the thing that amazes me more than anything else, and I've played with some really good backs in my career, is his contact balance. It's exceptional.
2nd and 10. Here's sideline as he's able to get it over to Shepard. Sterling Shepard with a good effort. Lisa.
Hey, Tess, well, I was talking to Penn State coach James Franklin last week. He was telling me about how freakishly strong Saquon Barkley is and about how he holds all the running back records in the Penn State weight room. He has the record for bench press, 455 pounds, for power clean, 405 pounds, and check out the squat. He holds the Penn State record for that, 650 pounds, but that wasn't a 1-rep max. That was 10 to 12, he told us. He says he thinks his 1-rep squat would probably be around 700 pounds, like you guys, right?
Yeah, let me tell you, he's a humble kid. He was not bashful at all about saying that. He takes a lot of pride. Not able to find much. Explain contact balance to me, that phrase you just used.
Well, the reason why he's so good at it is just his ability, once you're getting hit, whether it's at the linebacker level, at the line of scrimmage, out of the backfield, he has the ability to take on those hits and then use his legs to get him back on track. And you'll see it throughout this game, the way he avoids these contact. But when he does have to take it on, it's exceptional that he doesn't allow himself to go down when he gets off balance.
Seen a lot of that already this year from him. Some of the big plays keeping that balance going. You're not looking for a demo where I knock over Blackie over here, huh? Our great spotter.
But even on that last play, Nate Solder, the left tackle, really got knocked back. And the quickness just to get it north and south right away.
2nd and 9. Zeros on the clock to end the first quarter. And look at that balance there as he's able to charge ahead and find 11 yards to close out this first quarter. A meetup of veterans. Manning and Barkley against Ryan and Jones. Sensational rookie Saquon Barkley. 39% of the Giants' offensive yardage this season he has. The last 2 rookies to be in that neighborhood to hit 40%. Marshall Faulk, 94 Colts. Eric Dickerson in the 83 Rams. That 39%, by the way, leads the NFL currently. Zeke Elliott's at 35%.
And Saquon can handle the load, Joe. I mean, it's incredible.
Start of the second quarter. As he tried to bounce it and made the most of it. So the scoreless first quarter for the Falcons defense. We talk about all the injuries they've had. That's the first scoreless first quarter they've had since week 1 when everybody was healthy, when they had Deion Jones and Keanu Neal and Ricardo Allen. Absent some of those guys in the middle, how do you guys now see this defense?
Well, they're broken. I mean, they're beat up, and it's showing up. The big thing, though, in Dan Quinn's style of defense, it's a zone system. Right, you've seen it in Seattle with Pete Carroll and what they do, but they need to play a little bit more instinctive and get to the football.
There's a short end around with Ingram as they had Flo going to the right and had Ingram, the tight end, coming back around. So, Boog, let's take a closer look at this defense. Grady Jarrett is back up front. And we mentioned who's absent. Deion Jones not in the middle at linebacker anymore. Keanu Neal, Ricardo Allen in the defensive backfield, not there with injuries.
And, you know, here's the deal. When you don't have Deion Jones, he's a 3-down linebacker that can cover people like a Ryan Shazier in Pittsburgh. Now when you don't have him, you have to bring safeties in. But Grady Jarrett being back will help this unit.
Full start. Offense, number 13. 5-yard penalty, and remains first down.
And when we visited with Grady Jarrett yesterday, he was licking his chops. When you asked him about the Giants' offensive line, some of the difficulties they were having, you see him just light up.
Yeah, he didn't want to give any bulletin board material, you know, so he was trying to protect himself, and got a little awkward there without him saying anything. So then he just started laughing, you know. It's like, I think you like your matchup is what you're telling me.
Exactly. I think he loved the matchup.
Love seeing Eli's face on some of those looks. I know he's not doing it on purpose, but those are classic.
1st and 15. As once again, it's Barkley that ends up being the option for him, and Campbell runs him down along with Duke Riley.
You know, and it's been some of the frustration, guys, with Eli Manning, especially in the New York market. Why is he checking the football down? You saw a situation right there where the Falcons dropped back in zone coverage, and they gave him the underneath throw. I understand Eli is watching the rush, but when he does a good job of checking it down, getting the ball to Saquon Barkley, I think everyone has to understand that's what the defense is giving him.
Yeah, and he's off to a good start. He's 8 for 8. He's taking what they give him early in the game and staying in command.
See the next gen showing the short distance thrown downfield as he has chopped down. That was Jack Crawford taking down Eli Manning. 2nd sack of the night for Atlanta.
And coming from the backside at the top of the screen, it's just a couple of guys working together. Crawford taking the outside on Hernandez and Tack McKinley falling underneath. They call that a natural game. It's not called in the huddle, but the end feels the 3 technique ahead of him and comes inside. And if you're Nate Solder and we're paying you $15 million a year, you have got to play better and block the blind side of your quarterback.
Yeah, Boog, and Nate had a chip there by the tight end, which tells him he can set soft. He doesn't have to run out there knowing that he has that chip, and then he could have passed that game off.
3rd and 21, pressured again and checking down again. Evan Ingram is brought down hard. Only 7 yards shaved off as the offense will walk back.
But that's what I'm saying. They get behind the chains, right? It's obvious, you know, take shots down the field, do it. But they don't have time. 2nd down is killing them. And you mentioned that left side of the ball. They have to be able to protect.
Yes.
You know that's going to be the game, right? They're going to do different stuff. Sometimes it's going to be a speed rush. Sometimes it's going to come up and under. That's why you do the chip block by the tight end, so that you can play it soft and then pass it off. Not a good job. And I put a lot of that on Solder. You know, he's got a rookie playing beside him. He needs to be able to help him.
Bad snap to Dixon, but he is able to get it off. And in just doing so, only to the 25-yard line. Just a 31-yard punt. Matty Ice back at it when we return to Monday Night Football. Beautiful night here in Atlanta, and the roof is open at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. It was declared fully functional this past July. They had a few issues. 3rd time they've had it open for a Falcons game. Here's Coleman on the pitch. Remember, we got Matty Ice mic'd up tonight.
Damn, boys. Talked about being a competitor. You know, he doesn't like getting hit. He doesn't like getting sacked. He's frustrated with this team being 2-4. He feels like there's a great window in the prime of his career. He wants to take advantage of it, and he knows he can't afford to lose tonight.
2nd and 11 as Smith tries to find something. I just hope that's not what we hear when we walk into next week's production meeting.
If you look at Matt Ryan, I think he's frustrated because the weakness of this Giant defense, I think, is their corners. When you got Eli Apple and Janoris Jenkins, well, the strength of this Falcon offense are the wide receivers. I think Matt Ryan wants to get the football deep, but he's getting sacked so far, so he hasn't had time to get the football deep. The offense isn't moving. Look for a couple of shots down the field to Jones, Sanu, or Ridley.
And Steve Sarkisian, he wants to get the running game going, but he can't force it.
They've already had 3 sacks.
Got Julio.
And he's got him for a 1st down. As Julio is ridden down at the 37-yard line. 11 yards on 3rd and 8.
The Falcons have been incredible, completing almost 50% on 3rd down. But you see on here, they're just attacking the zone coverage. And the New York secondary, they have to communicate better. They have to have more awareness. Pass it off. 2 guys go vertical. You got to be able to play in between the 2 of them there. Alec Ogletree needs to push over and match number 3 so that the corner can make a play. That's not going to work against this type of offense. saw the pressure there, Joey.
Yeah.
Check it.
Yeah.
False start. Offense, number 71. 5-yard penalty and remains first down.
Just saw how much of a matchup problem Julio Jones can be. I mean, guy's just dynamic. You look at receptions over the last 5 seasons, second, yards, number 1. And then there's that column that says touchdowns. 29th he's tied for. And then this year, the yardage is there, the catches are there, and doesn't have a touchdown catch.
Hey, Bug, I commend Steve Sarkisian, the job he's doing. But you know what? He's got to get more touches to Julio Jones in the red zone.
1st and 15. Back to Coleman. And Coleman struggles to get back to the line of scrimmage as Vernon was on it.
One of the reasons why he hasn't got more targets is because of this. You're going to see in this play. Matt Ryan called him. He's John Stockton. Assist. And that's what you call assist, boys. Taking 3 so that your wingman, Sanu, can get one-on-one. He demands double coverage. Not only in the red zone, but in the field. And you see what Sanu does. And you're going to see Sanu. He recognizes that Julio takes the entire back end, 3 defenders with him on the clear out. And all good receivers, sometimes they have to do that, certainly in the red zone. And that's what's happened to Julio. That's why he hasn't had many targets and why he hasn't had a touchdown yet.
2nd and 15. Batted down at the line of scrimmage.
From Julio's standpoint, why hasn't there been touchdowns, especially in the red zone? I think it has to do with the creativity. Steve Sarkisian came in last year, and he tried to run Kyle Shanahan's offense. There was no creativity. This year, he's running Steve Sarkisian's offense, and the offense is performing better. I still think there needs to be better creativity when you have the best receiver in football to get him open and clean looks running across the field.
And to your point, I agree, Boog, but, you know, Calvin Ridley's sitting there with 6 touchdowns. Like, who cares as long as you're getting it?
That's exactly what's happening.
If you're a Falcons fan.
Since week 1 against Philadelphia, they've been really good at it.
3rd and 15. Shallow cross to Julio. Can he get there this time? Having to dodge defenders just to work his way to the 40. 8 yards there. So they'll be punting away.
Really good job by the Giant defense. 3rd and long, drop back, play zone, keep it in front of you. It doesn't matter if he gets 8, 9, 10, as long as he doesn't get the first down. Nice job by James Betcher's defense.
They're playing hard, Bug.
Yeah.
That's what I like to see. You know, you see them on tape. I went against them for a number of years. They were tough. That front 4 has been tough for a long time. But when I watched them, it didn't show up consistently.
Henderson, he was a star returner at Pitt. And nice return here for the rookie, Quadre Henderson. He'll set up Eli Manning and that offense. Manning is 9 for 9 passing to start the night. Can they break through on this drive? Stick around. Through the second quarter, Monday Night Football in Atlanta, scoreless. What big NFL news today? Amari Cooper, the wide receiver for Oakland, traded to the Dallas Cowboys for a first-rounder. There's Cooper, a first-rounder himself a few years ago. Good field position for the Giants. Barkley met in the backfield, wrestled down for no gain. All right, here's the deal. Cooper's now a Cowboy. You know the way things are going in Oakland. Who wins this trade?
I think Dallas wins it. Look, they needed a big-time player. They're 3-4. The division's wide open. They needed somebody that could stretch the field besides Cole Beasley. On the outside, they want to run the football, certainly with Zeke Elliott. Starts there, strength of their team. But Dak hasn't been able to have that guy. They want to stretch the field. That's the power of this offense. And they haven't had anybody that can do that out there. And Amari can do that. First 2 years in the league, he had over 1,000 yards receiving. That's what he's done. I think Dallas wins that trade.
Well, obviously, with Des Bryant not there, and I don't know what happened to that Jason Witten guy, but the passing game's been a concern. Eli, just beyond Beckham. But what do you got on this trade of Cooper to Dallas?
Well, I'm just trying to figure out what the Oakland Raiders and John Gruden are doing. You get rid of a defensive player of the year guy, Khalil Mack, now Amari Cooper. Who's next, Derek Carr? How can you sell to your football team that you're trying to win if you're Oakland when you're getting rid of your best players? I just don't understand what they're doing. I agree from Dallas' perspective. Now Dak Prescott has a #1 receiver in Amari Cooper. So now you can further evaluate Dak Prescott and also Amari Cooper at the same time.
Yeah, and what John Gruden does have now is he's got 5 first-round picks over the next 2 years. So it's a rebuild there. But I give Stephen Jones and Jerry Jones a lot of credit. Knowing that they needed it, they have an opportunity to still compete and win the division.
3rd down and 10 after Eli's first incompletion, and he's taken down. 3rd sack of the night for the Falcons. Takk McKinley, 5.5 on the year now.
And they're just abusing this offensive line. Eli may be watching a rush, but when the offensive line can't block and you have Takk McKinley, Nate Solder once again, if that's what $15 million will get you, I don't want $15 million. Nate Solder is getting abused right now, and you got to give credit. Takk McKinley, Grady Jarrett coming back has infused some energy into this Falcons defensive line.
Nate's really struggling off that speed rush.
But let me tell you something. I'll have Takk McKinley run me over for $15 million any day of the week, brother. Put the cash right in front of me. Have Takk run me over like a bulldozer for $15 million.
Have it for long.
Bring me the cash now. ESPN's Monday Night Football is brought to you by the Alliance for Lifetime Income. Learn more at retireyourrisk.org. That is the painting on the line. Spans 100 feet in length across 3 concourse walls here at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. It's by artist Jake Messing. Coleman on first down as he's looking for something on that right side.
Yeah, you know, they keep trying to run the football. They've struggled there, but, you know, just look up the front there. Damon Harrison, Dalvin Tomlinson, these defensive tackles, these are big boys. Look, I don't know what you weighed back in the day, but these are hogs, man. You can't run inside on them. So I think they got to ride their strengths, and that's the passing game.
Play action with the motion, downfield Ryan, and somehow he finds Hooper, who goes over a defender. It was Webb who went up for it, and Hoop comes down with it for 36 yards.
Yeah, what a play by Hooper. You're going to see, we talked about the play action. That's exactly what they're going to do here. Hooper's ability is just running a corner route. But you talk about play strength and going to get the football, you got to use your size. Line one for a tight end when I look for him as a pass receiver. And Hooper's done this year. Is their ability to go make tough catches and use their body to shield the defender. That's exactly what he did there.
That was 6'4" against 5'11".
Oh,
Ryan wants all of it. And he's able to get it. Marvin Hall.
It's play action. They're going to come back behind her. You're going to see Hooper on the over. The safety takes it. And look at that. Marvin Hall says, thank you very much. You're going to see it out here. As soon as that goes, he knows he's got it. Little stems it out like he's going to run that corner and come back on the post. Talked about Jenkins struggling. He has the speed to anticipate, but one of the things he does is he's aggressive. And so when he faked that corner out, he bit on it.
And then a knuckleball extra point from the new kicker, Giorgio Tavecchio, who's in for the injured Matt Bryant. 47-yard touchdown to Hall. Matt Ryan's been red hot with play action tonight. 6 of 6, 121, and a touchdown moments ago to Marvin Hall. You know, prior to that last drive, we had a game that was 6 sacks combined, no points, and then 3 plays, 86 yards. And Ryan slices them up with the play action. 7-0 Atlanta. Monday Night Football here at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Joe Tessitore, Jason Witten, Booger McFarland, Lisa Salters. Glad you're with us. Henderson from halfway into the end zone. And a flag reigns in at the end.
Personal foul, receiving team, number 82 and 72 with an illegal double team block. Penalty is assessed half the distance to the goal. First down.
We talked about that touchdown. Keep an eye on this safety and this safety right there. Landon Collins, and then on the back end, Curtis Riley. They're going to run this over route by Hooper, and as soon as he comes off of it, they don't get back those linebackers. So Riley has to jump on it. And we get on Janoris Jenkins all we want, but he's got to play off, and he can't be deep. But he has no help in the middle of the field. That's a lot of room to operate, and with a quarterback like Matt Ryan, he's going to convert on that every day of the week. Linebackers have got to get depth in the play-action game.
There's Barkley, as he's met that time by Sanaa, as well as Oluwakan, the rookie who's in there for Deion Jones. a rookie linebacker from Yale, starting in the NFL instead of Deion Jones. He was a huge part of Coach Tony Reno's Ivy League championship team a year ago.
I don't think they had any Saquon Barkleys in that conference to go against.
You know who his high school teammate was at John Burroughs in St. Louis, a Louis Collins high school teammate? Zeke Elliott.
Oh, how about that?
So he faced somebody like that in practice in high school before he went on to play in New Haven.
You know, though, the Giants offense, similar to what we just saw in Atlanta in that last series, the Giants defense was playing pretty good. They're stopping them, they're getting pressure on them, and then boom, the big play comes. That is where the Giants have struggled. Eli's been accurate, completing passes. They just aren't able to get these big strikes, and that's what they need, certainly on a third down here and 3rd and long.
You need time for the big strike.
Yeah, you do. You got to be able to protect. But at some point, Sherman understands his defense. His offensive line. He knows what the concerns are. He's got to take advantage of the weapons on the outside. Best way to do that: get Eli outside the pocket and then get some crossing routes so these guys can do it with their legs.
3rd and 8.
He's got Odell.
There he is, and here he goes, Odell Beckham Jr. 26 yards.
Yeah, you're talking about the crossing routes. That's what we were saying. There's Odell. Watch him. He understands what the coverage is. He sees it's man-to-man. He uses it as a pick route and separation, and then do it with his legs. Complaining about the protection is not going to work. You got to get the ball out quickly.
Here's Barkley on 1st down. And finally run down. So Odell Beckham Jr. already has 3 catches for 57 yards. That's amazing how you can be inspired when the guy who writes the check says a little something, isn't it, guys? John Mara, co-owner of the Giants, says, you know, I wish he'd create the headlines by his play on the field as opposed to what he says. I think he needs to do a little more playing and a little less talking. But what is your read on what's been going on with Odell?
Well, I think some people expect Odell to change once they paid him. He's not going to change. He's always had the antics on the sideline, but he's doing it to get himself fired up. That doesn't bother me. We've seen Tom Brady do the same things on the sideline. I like Odell because he plays hard and he brings it to the field.
2nd and 11. Here's Barkley as he cuts back. And Barkley finally met about a yard short of that line to make. 10 yards from Saquon Barkley.
And that's going to be the biggest challenge of Saquon Barkley and how you coach him. Because those last 2 plays, the previous play in the running game, he tried to bounce it, kept bouncing it, is a minus run. But then in these plays, you're going to see him. That's what he brings. So he can take 5-yard gains and turn them into 12-yard gains as well. And it's hard to find out when do you take those chances and when do you say, hey, I'm just going to stick it up the middle and get it, maximize the yards, you know. And you can't really teach that. It's got to be Phil, and he's got to learn from his experiences.
Wayne Gallman in at running back here as they go with the up back. Penny, who goes ahead and will advance the sticks, and that'll bring us to the 2-minute warning. Giants driving, trailing by a touchdown. 7-0 Falcons as the Giants took over with 4:51 left, converted a couple 3rd downs on this drive. 2-minute warning. Odell Beckham's been solid in this first half. And all those headlines reportedly fined by the team for his recent interview where he questions the team's heart. Didn't necessarily say he was happy in New York as well.
Yeah, look, I think he learned from what happened there. You know, he said, like, I didn't use my words properly. You know, I'd like to have that moment back. And I get your point, Boog. I know he loves football, and he's a talented player. He works at it. But when you get that type of contract, there is a point from a management standpoint that says, hey, we have high expectations. And knowing that he's going to move the meter the way he does, you can't allow it to become a distraction. And I think that's what he's learning. He's processed it. I think he made himself accountable. And now it just has to show up.
You know, I would add to that. I think the bigger issue on this Giants offense, and particularly this Giants team, where's the leadership? Because if you're asking the $90 million wide receiver to be the leader, that's a problem. What about your 2-time Super Bowl winning quarterback? How come he can't be a leader? The leadership on this team is in question.
You know, a lot of people point to the rookie Saquon Barkley when you ask that question around the franchise. Eli, plenty of time, and with it downfield and complete to Sterling Shepard. So here come the Giants.
And they're going to go a little up-tempo because they got a little momentum. That was a big throw by Eli. It's tight coverage on the outside. Shepard did a good job going to get that football, but Eli anticipated. He knew, he saw it, said, all right, I got the ball at midfield, right on around the 2-minute warning. Let's take advantage of it, answer it.
You see the Falcons defense, 31st in red zone defense. as he goes just inside the 10 to Rhett Ellison.
And as you get into the red zone right now, the field is going to get tighter, so it's going to be important not only for the Falcons to get more pressure on Eli, but for Eli to be patient in the pocket and allow his receivers to uncover.
One of the things that Giants are doing, though, is they got 2 tight ends on the field. And the reason they're doing that is to keep them in some type of base personnel so they can get the matchups.
That time he had an open Odell Beckham Jr., but it'll bring up a 3rd down now.
And he's got to make that throw. Pocket was pretty clean. Odell Beckham Jr. on a corner route. Runs a nice route. Little combo coverage in and out. Trufant bites up. Odell on the corner. The case, Eli's got to make that throw. When the opportunities are available and you're Eli Manning, you're a 2-time Super Bowl winning quarterback, you got to step up on your front foot and make that throw.
You know, that was a high-low on Trufant. And I think because it was in the red zone, he was expecting Odell to go to the back pylon there. Looked like he was a little frustrated throwing that football. Maybe a little miscommunication by those two.
3rd down and 6. And a timeout used by the Giant. Reminder, coming up will be the commercial-free Genesis halftime show with Susie Colbert, Louis Riddick, and Steve Young. Curious to hear what Lou and Steve have to say about this first half. Manny Machado will be the SVB interview, and Lil Yachty is going to be the special performance. You
Lil Yachty?
Yeah, Peekaboo. You know that song, Peekaboo.
I haven't heard Lil Yachty in a long time.
You're going to like yourself some Lil Yachty.
Whit, you don't know anything about Lil Yachty, do you, Whit?
Nah, I do know a little about Lil Wayne, though.
Lil Wayne opened it. That guy knows something about him, too. Trust me. 3rd down and 6.
They're going to play zone and force this ball underneath.
Manning with time. And then he is taken down. Finally, Grady Jarrett collapsed on him. Their 4th sack of this first half, the Falcons.
And some sacks are rush sacks, and some sacks are coverage sacks. Defensive coordinator Marquand Manuel for the Falcons drops back, zone coverage. They drop the tackle. There's a spy technique, so you're only rushing 3. There's 8 guys dropping. The nose tackle drops in a spy. Nowhere to throw the football. Nice coverage sack there.
Yeah, and you see it right there, Bug. They have nowhere to go with the football because they dropped 8. Eli's trying to get those guys to work. Line was able to have 5-on-3 there. Disappointing that they couldn't get in the end zone and find somebody to get open. And when that happens, when they drop 8, quarterbacks extending those plays, the route's off. It's all strictly backyard ball. Find a way to get open. And I would always run to the sideline, to the pylon.
See Shermer and Odell having a conversation. You know, Odell this season has been targeted in the red zone 8 times, only has 1 reception. Aldrick Rose is on for the field goal attempt. He's enjoying a very good second year as their kicker. 31-yarder goes through, as he's now 14 of 15 on field goals on the season. Giants get on the board, but it's 3 instead of 7. They did score a touchdown inside the 2-minute warning in the second quarter. One other time this year, what they were looking for there was their only win. Got to get 7s. Had that opportunity with Odell.
Yeah, and they just missed it on that play there where they're trying to get the flat with the tight end Ellison and then get Odell in behind there. It's a high-low on Trufant, and you're going to see Odell at the top of this route. He's kind of sticking it like you would on man-to-man. No need for it. Zone coverage. Just get to that spot. And that's what Eli was kind of expecting there. Because it was zone, get to the spot. Trufant is on high-low. Just a miscommunication. It happens in the red zone. You know, they're talking about it now on the sideline.
As Ryan goes back to Julio Jones.
Julio thinks he caught it. Referee's waving it off, saying it's incomplete.
You know, in this situation, you almost want it to be incomplete.
Right.
You know, with it only being a 5-6 yard gain.
1 timeout remaining for Atlanta.
Yeah, I believe that might be a catch, guys.
Looks like he had firm control.
Right.
Took the 2 steps, went to the ground, knee touches there.
And then he loses it.
52 some light.
Second and 10. Waiting on it is Jones, and getting ahead for the first down. As the clock countdown for the moment, 15-yard reception there.
And out on the field, an injured player.
And then there's an injured Falcon. That is Fusco, Brandon Fusco, the starting right guard, writhing in pain.
And we've made a lot about this Giants offensive line and them not blocking, rightfully so. The Falcons offensive line is saying, hey guys, take a look at us, because they aren't blocking a soul right now. And you lose Andy Levitre, your guard, triceps injury, and they've had to mix and match inside. And the guards, Fusco, he gets rolled up there, but they're not playing very well inside. They're not blocking the Giants defensive line.
Well, the injuries have been the thread that is woven through this Atlanta season.
You know what was amazing, though, on that play there by Matt Ryan? They didn't block it well. You saw Lorenzo Carter, the defensive end, come back underneath like we saw earlier in the game.
Yeah.
Almost untouched, Bug. And guess what, though? It didn't matter because Matt threw that ball on the sideline before he was even out of the cut. It's amazing how his eyes and how he progresses through his reads and makes these throws.
And Whit, if you look at the other side, that's what we're talking about with Eli Manning. Eli Manning doesn't do that. He's looking at the rush. Great example by Matt Ryan. They didn't block anybody, and he still stepped up. Yeah, he got hit, but when you're a quarterback and you're trying to get the football to your receivers, you can't look at the rush. Yeah, you're going to get hit. That's part of it. But you got to step up, take the hit, and throw the football. It's two great examples. Matt Ryan did it. Eli Manning hasn't consistently done it.
So now with no timeouts, right, you're thinking they got to get at least 20, 25 yards. Look for the out cut. You're trying to get a big chunk and get out of bounds. If not, you complete it inbounds, you got to get up on the ball and clock it immediately.
So Fusco is helped off. Remember, Andy Levitre, fine left guard, is out for the season. Tricep injury there. Schweitzer took over there. And then Garland will come in, Ben Garland, for Fusco.
You know, Dan Quinn works these situations a lot. You know, into half, into games. See if they can capitalize here.
29 seconds and no timeouts.
Oh, he's got Julio. My goodness.
Look at this. Jones had to wait for it, and they'll bring out the penalty flag as Michael Thomas made contact.
Julio just goes at a different speed. I mean, you saw it right away. He just outruns them. Corners, safety, it doesn't matter. You're going to see him here off the motion. I mean, B.W. Webb's like, where you at, safety? Can you help me? The safety's just like, I'm going to throw my arm up.
Pass interference, defense, number 31. The ball's placed at the spot of the foul, and an automatic first down.
Watch Ryan at the end of this play as his throwing hand drives forward and goes right into the back of Jake Matthews.
And some penalties are bad penalties, some are good. That was a good penalty. If he doesn't make that, the zebra's raising his arms and it's a touchdown.
And
so
now you're in field goal range. Look, take some shots in the end zone here now.
38-yard penalty. 23 seconds until halftime. There is the shot. And he had a chance with Hooper. That leaves 19 seconds. P.W. Webb had coverage.
You know, on that pass interference call that Julio was able to get, as you see there, he just threw it so quickly. He was just behind him a little bit.
Yeah.
Hooper was able to use his body on the smaller B.W. Webb. That would have been a touchdown. But on that pass interference, you saw it, Matt Ryan, not only his hand, but his foot was stepping on his left tackle, Matthews. And he left that ball a little short because of that.
But you're starting to see what the Falcons offense is, guys. They're a down-the-field passing team, and now that they're doing it, the offense is opening up.
And I look for a double move out of Julio on the outside.
He pumps, he goes to the end zone looking for him, and overthrown. 14 seconds remaining, it'll be third down. That Giants defense out there against Julio and Ryan. And Eli Apple, the starting corner, has an ankle injury, questionable to return.
Yeah, nice little sluggo. Jenkins is aware of the situation, the slant and go. Plays soft, plays outside. But you know what? Talk about game management. That's exactly what you want to do. Long foul balls, they're not completing them, but they're in field goal range. They have to feel pretty confident that they can hit that. You take shots here.
And if you're the Giants here, keep the ball in front of you. You shouldn't be getting beat on a double move now.
No timeouts, 3rd and 10. Incomplete as he was looking for that matchup with Julio and B.W. Webb. So it'll leave 8 seconds, and it'll bring on Giorgio Tavecchio, who spent the preseason with the Falcons, was let go by the Raiders after playing there last year. Matt Bryant, the veteran, strained a hamstring, so he's out of action. So Tavecchio, the native of Milan, Italy, with the 40-yard field goal attempts.
Always like Milan, Joe.
Shermer's aware that he's a rookie. Calls a timeout here to try to ice him a little bit.
Freeze him up a little bit, huh?
You know, though, talking about game management by Atlanta there, good job by Dan Quinn. Yeah, they didn't hit one of those passes, but understanding touchdowns matter in this league. If you're able to score them, goes without saying, you can hit one of those. Not only does it change the game, you know, and allow it to be 14-3, but it also, it's momentum builder. And understanding that situation, you're in field goal range, let's try to get one. They took 3 shots in the end zone, didn't convert any of them, but that's the right mindset.
And I like that mindset as opposed to the mindset the Cowboys had yesterday at the end of the game. Let's be aggressive. Love that by Dan Quinn.
So here is Tavecchio. Just signed, was with the Raiders last year. Now stepping in for the injured Matt Bryant. Boog, you said you like Milan? Molto, molto bene. Mr. Tavecchio.
What is that? I didn't quite understand.
10-3. 38-yard pass interference penalty sets up Giorgio. USAA and the NFL pay tribute to our armed forces through the salute to service. There's Steve Mack, father of Falcons center Alex Mack. Steve served in the Army from 1969-71, was a specialist 4th class, and then served in the Peace Corps in Iran from 74 to 76. He is one of the team leaders of the Falcons, the 5-time Pro Bowler. You know what I love about Alex Mack? You watch enough film on him. Always getting to the second, always finding work going to the second level.
Yeah, center. He's smart. He communicates well. And then the way he plays, he's nasty.
Oh, he is.
And you see it from the time he breaks the huddle. We'll take a look at it in the second half. But I mean, he sprints out of the huddle. Like, you know, he's playing 8th grade football.
Yeah.
Gets to the line of scrimmage, communicates, and then he does. Good centers, not only good in protection, but being able to climb to the second level, just like you mentioned, Joe. Does it one of the best in the league.
There's Henderson, as this will run out the clock. Well, Marvin Hall had the big touchdown catch, the 47-yarder. Got a 7-point lead for Atlanta. Giants are going to get the ball to start the second half as we will join Susie Calder for the commercial-free Genesis halftime show starting right now.
Love seeing Eli's face on some of those looks. Those are classic. You're not going to win football games if your offensive line plays like that.
Matt Ryan is an elite quarterback, and he's got the best trio of wide receivers in the National Football League.
Downfield Ryan, and somehow he finds Hooper. Ryan wants all of it, and he's able to get it. Marvin Hall. Monday Night Football from Atlanta. 10-3 Falcons. Hall had the 47-yard touchdown catch. That's the difference in the game. There are the quarterbacks. They faced a lot of 3rd and long. Giants were averaging 3rd and 9.5. Atlanta 3rd and 10.0. By the way, Saquon Barkley was held to 8 rushing yards. 3 of his carries went for no gain in that first half. You talked plenty about the New York Giants offensive line struggles there. Eli was sacked 4 times.
Yeah, not only was he sacked 4 times, but even other times, that pressure was so quickly in his face that he had to dump it out. And he had to get it out underneath the chains. And what he wants to do is he wants to stretch the field. His guys are getting open on the outside. Odell, Shepard, they're getting open. He just doesn't have enough time. So not running the football, the sacks, and the pressures, they're in this game, but the offensive line has got to play better.
Look, what's your read?
Well, I look at the Atlanta Falcons defensive line. You get Grady Jarrett coming back. He missed 2 games with a high ankle, but he's came back and he has infused a lot of energy in this defensive line. And if the Giants' offensive line can't block this defensive line, it's not going to allow Saquon Barkley to get loose or Eli Manning to find Odell Beckham down the field.
The Giants, by the way, 0-27 since 2012, trailing at halftime in road games. They've lost their last 18 games when trailing by at least 7 points. That's the longest current streak in the NFL. the longest in team history. They will get the ball to start this second half. Critical game for both teams. All the close calls that Atlanta has had, and obviously the Giants hoping to bounce back after the dismal start to their season. Lisa.
Hey, Tess. Well, remember Eli Manning was telling us yesterday that he thinks his team is playing really hard. They just need something good to happen to them. So far it hasn't. The Giants haven't scored a touchdown in 6 quarters. I asked Pat Shurmur what they have to do to just generate some more offense. He said, we're battling. We had a couple shots at the end zone to tie the game, but had to settle for a field goal. We didn't capitalize. When we get down there, we got to score. So kind of like what Eli was saying yesterday, they just feel like they need something good to happen to turn things around.
It's an interesting note you say about the Giants' lack of touchdown productivity over the last game and a half. Barkley able to get the corner there and kept his balance as McKinley finally got a piece of him.
Yeah, well, in the first half, Saquon just couldn't get going. And one of the reasons why they're running this zone scheme, and you see how Atlanta's defense was just rallying to him, not allowing him to get started. They're playing hard, they're playing fast. The offensive lines, look at the penetration. There's nowhere to go for Saquon. You want to stop a great running back, don't let him get started. But you saw on that last play, Pat Shurmur's adjustment, misdirection, trying to trick this fast defense and get on the perimeter.
118, right there.
There's Eli. Pressure came to him again as he tried to get rid of the ball. That was Brian Poole who was coming in on Manning.
In the area.
And Eli Manning is sitting back. They're trying to hit a shot, a little play action here, feint, and you bring in blitz, and Eli gets a little pressure. Saquon Barkley has to step up. It's one of the things, we talk about him as a runner, but as a pass protector, he's not very good right now. He had a play in the Eagle game where he didn't get to block, and they're right in that situation. Be firm, step up.
Hey, Boog,
to your quarterback.
Boog, how about Brian Poole, though? Coming in on that blitz inside, taking on Saquon and knocking him right back into Eli. I don't know that I expected that to happen.
2nd and 10. Only a yard that time, maybe 2 for Barkley.
We came into the game talking about the offensive line, and the offensive line is still an issue. And it's a little bit of everybody. Will Hernandez, second-round guard from UTEP, gets beat inside by Grady Jarrett. You say, okay, let's move to the left side. Hernandez and Nate Solder, just a simple, natural game. Tack McKinley comes inside to get the sack. And then, you know, you go out and you pay $15 million, 62 overall for Nate Solder, and he gives up the edge in a one-on-one. You got to protect the quarterback's blind side. And right now, everybody's taking turns of missing blocks on the Giants' O-line.
They had success with Odell in that spot on the last 3rd down in the 2nd quarter. Look for him again on the skinny post.
Here's 3rd and 8. As he gets it complete, Shepard gets loose. A flag is down as he beats one man and gets extra yardage. Let's see if it's coming back or not. 53 yards as it stands.
Really good call by Pat Shurmur, though, because this Atlanta defense, they're playing outside leverage in all these things. So we saw the drag earlier. Now they come back with post. In breakers versus that outside leverage, it's no-brainer. Good job by there completing that one.
Holding defense number 23. This penalty is declined. The result of the play is a 1st down.
Just what the Giants needed.
You're going to see Shepard go in. Good stick right there. Understanding it was man coverage. Putting that left foot in the ground, making him think you're going inside, then going back outside, and then coming back in. That's what we call the old okey-doke right there, boys.
I'll tell you, strong hands by Shepard to fight through that time and hold on to that ball as Alford was trying to swipe it away. And now it's a 1st and goal.
And they're probably going to run it here. I'd like to see them stay aggressive with the passing game, though.
They do with Barkley. There is Peyton Manning watching his brother here.
The sheriff.
It was interesting to watch Peyton pregame. I got a kick out of this. You talk about the sheriff. There's the sheriff pose, leaning against the post, right behind Eli. Watching these reps, maybe a little critical look every so often, and then a laugh and a nod and a great conversation. What a nice visit they had pregame to see the 2 brothers together.
Using that sky cam, he was watching the mechanics, fundamentals. Nobody better to watch.
2nd and goal. Manning, can he get there? Diving for it. And they're going to mark him down just inside the 2.
Man, when did Eli get some wheels? When did he get them?
You know, though, I think it just says a lot, though, about Eli, that play right there. I mean, he's heard the noise. He knows he didn't play well to start this season. High expectations. And look, every step of the way, and I played against him a lot of times, you know, and you think back even to his championships when he won it. You know, he was 9-7 one year. They didn't have this great record all the time. He just continues to battle.
Did you see that little rise up in Peyton when he was getting that corner? He's going for that little rise up on the feet by Peyton.
It's one of the things we mentioned. Yeah, it's not going to be perfect. It's not going to be the way the coach draws it up sometimes. But when you're a veteran player, a 37-year-old quarterback, sometimes you got to make a play with. And I like Eli Manning making a play right there.
3rd and goal. Pre-snap shift. Leaves Penny in the backfield.
Fly sweep.
And there is the fly sweep. Barkley trying to muscle his way in. And he is pulled back by 3 or 4 Falcons, including Reed and Sanat. And that is the 4th time that Barkley is stopped for no gain or a loss tonight.
You know, in that situation, it's not a bad call. You know, I like what they're trying to do, but one thing I know when you get in the red zone, and certainly in the goal line, they're aware of it. And so they know where Saquon Barkley is all the time. So you shift him out, it looks good, and he goes into the slot. But guess what? They're watching him. They're tracking him the entire time. So you'd like to see him in that situation, put somebody else in on the fly sweep, because you're probably not going to trick him in that situation.
Falcons defensive lineman Deidrin Sanat still down. We'll take a quick timeout as they tend to him. The injury timeout, it's 4th and goal, and the Giants offense has stayed on the field. 4th and goal. Manning in the air, and it falls incomplete. Scott Simonson was the intended target. What you think of that play call, Whit?
I actually like the play call. They try to get Odell on a quick out route, on a speed out. And if he's not open, you're going to see Odell come down like he's blocking and a quick pivot. He had leverage right away. I don't know, maybe we'll take another look at that here in a minute, Joe. See if he had a chance on Odell. That's who really they wanted to go to. Pretend like he's cutting off on the backside and then come in behind. But the thing about the sprint out is it's great because it gives you options.
Great job by DeMonte KZ defensively, getting a hand on that ball.
And now if you're the Giants D, you got to pay the offense back. Keep the Atlanta Falcons down here on the 1-yard line.
Coleman, not much there. Remember the last time Atlanta was pinned, they quickly got breathing room with Julio Jones. But for Eli and this Giants offense now, guys, leaving points out there on the field. They've had 2 red zone possessions, a field goal and a turnover on downs.
Yeah, they got down there. They had the big play. You just got to capitalize. And we've been talking about that. Last week when we watched the Philadelphia game, they were kicking field goals when they were getting down there. And you can't do that against powerful offenses.
Well, one of the reasons why they struggle in the red zone is the quarterback is inaccurate, and sometimes the play design isn't there. You have to be tight in detail in the red zone, and they're not always that.
Ryan from the end zone, and a quick strike again, and a first down as Ryan goes to Mr. Reliable Julio Jones.
It's just that power, that play action on the end cut. The linebackers do not get depth, and therefore that goes behind them. And you're going to see Julio playing zone. Eli passes it off. It puts a lot of pressure on Landon Collins, the safety. But guess what? They've seen him run past him a number of times, so they're playing soft. The linebackers have got to spot drop. This system, Dan Quinn, they work that. They have like X's on the field. 10, 12 yards depth and hook up in that curl area of the field. You have to do that.
A little bit of pressure as Sanu was the option, but that was B.W. Webb coming in again. You know, linebacker coach for the Giants, Billy McGovern, told us earlier, he said that's exactly the concern. And you see Jones taking advantage. There's Steve Sarkisian, of course, the former head coach at UW and USC, and then got things straight in his personal life, was with Saban and Alabama. And now year number 2 is the play caller here. And things have come around this season compared to last when it comes to the productivity with Matt Ryan and the receivers.
See that motion, you know it's man-to-man coverage. Somebody's got to win on the outside.
Giants front did a nice job again.
Yeah, Alec Ogletree came in, and he beat Tevin Coleman one-on-one. I know running backs want to run the football and catch it, but sometimes you got to step in there and block. Nice job by Alec Ogletree, beating the one-on-one block in the back and getting in Matt Ryan's face.
Yeah, and what James Betcher's doing there, Boog, the defense coordinator for the Giants, he understands it's 6 for 6.
Yeah.
So he's bringing the 4D linemen, the 2 linebackers, and he's saying, hey, I'm going to create one-on-ones. See if they can pass it off. It doesn't look like they're going to do that.
And if you're the Falcons, you got to take advantage of your matchup. Eli Apple or Julio Jones is a matchup. He's one-on-one at the bottom of the screen. If I'm Matt Ryan, I'm checking to anything deep.
5th time that the Falcons have faced 3rd and 10 or longer. Gets away from the first, but not the second. Crumbling to the ground is Matt Ryan. A flag is down as Mario Edwards Jr. celebrates the sack. Landon Collins was coming in.
Yeah, it was a good pressure. They were late picking up Landon Collins. But wait till you see Eli Apple trying to cover Julio Jones back here.
He can't.
He's just grabbing and holding. So they want to bring the pressure and it hit home. But guess what?
Holding,
not protected on the back
defense, number 24. 5-yard penalty and an automatic first down.
You're going to see it. They're going to bring pressure, so it's going to create one-on-ones. He's holding the entire way. He's trying to throw him off. They're going to call that. And they know that, and that's a challenge for the Giants defense here. They want to bring pressure. It's hitting home some, but when you do that, obviously those guys on the outside are on the island, and they can't hold up.
Well, and Eli Apple is a guy that they drafted very high. He's got to be all the physical skills.
Nothing there at all for Coleman. Yeah, I mean, look, he was the number 10 overall pick in the draft.
Very high pick, all the physical traits, Joe, but he's not productive. And I think if you're Atlanta, they see the same film that we watch. You got to isolate Julio Jones, Sanu, one-on-one against Eli Apple. He is a matchup advantage for the Atlanta Falcons.
Look, I'm curious, just from your view there, you're hovering right above the Giants. They went for it on 4th and goal, and now the Falcons got a little breathing room. What's the vibe on the Giants sideline from your vantage point there?
I mean, the energy's good. They like when Pat Shermer goes for it. Now the defense has to pay it off and get off the field.
Coleman dragged down that time by Tate Davis, the rookie from Tennessee, Chattanooga.
It's a good play by Tate Davis. Being able to stretch it there, understand they want to run that zone scheme going backside, and he runs. He shows his ability to run. But now you got a 3rd down. You know, Atlanta's trying to run that football. They've been incredible on 3rd down this year. You need to go down there and show, okay, because the Giants, yeah, they didn't get it on 4th and 1, but if their defense can get a stop here, maybe they have a little momentum.
3rd down and 8. Here's that opportunity that the Giants defense has to have. Safety blitz again, and a shallow cross for a first down. Ito Smith, the rookie running back, comes out of the backfield and will move the chains. 20 yards there.
A really good job by Matt Ryan. You're going to see these guys. They're both going to blitz here. They're going to bring both of them off the outside. And when they do that, linebackers are unaware of them coming underneath. Good job of Matt Ryan. Seeing it, not panicking, buying a little time, and then huge plays. And a conversion on 3rd down.
So Smith went from the backfield, split out, gets the 20-yard reception, and now back to the I formation. Play action off of it. Ryan on point, and it's Justin Hardy. And just like that, they go from nearly up against their own end zone to marching right past midfield.
And it's another form of play action. Witt has been doing a great job talking all night about the different levels of play action. You have the level in the flat. He goes to the 2nd level this time. Not the 1st level, but the 2nd level.
But look right here, Bo. There's 3 levels to it.
Yep.
And when you get it there, you see it. That's a great visual for all of us there. And then Matt Ryan getting outside the pocket. If he wants to take the flat, great. But they're giving him the over, and that's what he's going to take.
Smith motions out again. So both the fullback and the tailback to the top of your screen here with this empty look on 1st down.
Here comes pressure from the Giants.
They pick it up, and he gets it out quickly, and he goes to Ricky Ortiz, the 230-pound fullback.
And that's a lonely feeling for James Betcher as a coordinator, because you're bringing pressure. It's actually hitting home, but it doesn't matter because Matt Ryan's that good. And all great quarterbacks, they take that mindset of, yeah, I'll do the play action, I'll do that kind of stuff. But then I can step in the pocket. Even with my lineman not blocking it great, the ball's out before it even matters.
Ninth different receiver with Ortiz getting the reception there. 3 tight ends in now. And they will run Smith straight up the middle before he's brought down by B.J. Goodson.
Everyone wants to have this conversation, guys. Is Matt Ryan elite? Where do we put Matt Ryan? Here's a guy, in my mind, as we said, if the head coach runs the football 3 times and they kick a field goal, he's a Super Bowl winning quarterback. We talk about Brady, Breeze, Rodgers. Matt Ryan is showing you, not only throughout this year, but tonight, he's one of the elite quarterbacks in football. His ability to get it out on time, change the play, take hits. Matt Ryan is an elite guy in this league.
Ryan. Complete again to Jones. Ball came out at the end, but they are waving it incomplete.
Yeah, it's
Jackrabbit Jenkins who got in there. Let's watch the end of this play.
Yeah, it's going to be incomplete. He got his hand in there, Joe. Julio caught it, and as he's bringing it in, Jenkins gets his hand in, and Julio can't get it to his body.
In that situation, though, Bug, Julio's got to have more awareness. He knows where the defender is. He's on his back hip.
Right.
We always say catch and tuck away from the defender before 2 feet hit the ground. And Julio didn't do that in that situation.
And sometimes you got to give it to the defense. That's just a good play by Jackrabbit. He's been beat for a touchdown deep. Now he made a good play there on Julio.
And possibly a fumble there.
Yeah, I mean, it looked like some control. Looked like he had a football move.
New York is challenging the ruling on the field of an incomplete pass.
Take a break, and they'll look at the review, see which way it goes. We come back to Atlanta. So the Giants challenged the last play. Julio Jones was ruled incomplete, but it appeared he had firm control, had the 2 steps, made a football move, and then fumbled the ball, and it appeared we had a clear recovery by the Giants.
Yeah, you know, he didn't take that ball away, and I think it was a fumble.
After review, the Atlanta receiver possessed and controlled the ball. It was a catch. Fumbled the football. Eventually recovered by the New York Giants at the 20-yard line. First down. New York will not be charged with a timeout.
And that is, by our look, and here it is, the right ruling.
You know, Julio's so good at the run after catch. Sometimes that's all he's thinking about. In that situation, like I was saying before the break, you really want to tuck that thing away because you don't know where those defenders are coming from. And if you leave it loose like that, they're going to make that type of play, and it's a costly turnover. But give the Giants decent credit. They were bringing pressure. You know, they were bend, don't break, but we saw Atlanta convert that 3rd down, the ball coming out with Matt Ryan. But the defense said, hey, look, you guys went for it. Pat Shurmur, you were aggressive. It wasn't there. You didn't convert the 4th and 1. We'll get a stop for you. Now they got this ball only down 7 points. Look for Eli to be aggressive in the passing game. Get that play action game going.
I think they got to figure out a way to get the football to Saquon Barkley. He is a game changer and has not touched it enough.
Only 22 yards rushing tonight. Here's Eli. Play action with time. Downfield. Flag is down as he finds Odell Beckham Jr.
I think it's going to be holding on the defense.
52-yard reception by Beckham.
Looked like it was holding over there by Alfred.
Yeah.
Holding, defense, number 23. This penalty has been declined. The results of the play is a first down.
We talked about that they needed to be aggressive, guys, and that's exactly what they're doing. See Odell with the double move. He's going to fake. And look, I love that route, and then go the vertical. And that's where they got the holding call. But he wasn't afraid to inside release. Even though he's running a go route, he inside release, and then he won on the double move. Good call, good execution there.
Beckham again. As he darts out, what a big night he is having. Of course, 108 receiving yards, capping what has been just a sensational start to his career. The fewest to 5,000 receiving yards. The fastest 54 games now for Odell Beckham Jr.
And he plays the game hard, guys. I know sometimes he's a little misunderstood with some of the antics. But when this guy's on the field, he plays the game the right way at a high level, and he's having a big night tonight.
Second fewest games in league history to get to 5,000 receiving yards. The Hall of Famer Lance Allworth. You saw him there. He did it in 52 games.
But that's what this offense needs to do. That's what it was, kind of Pat Shurmur, his system, that's what he was brought in here. Let's run the football. Let's get on the perimeter. Let's get our play action going, and then double move, stretch the field vertically. And you're seeing that some tonight. It goes back to the offensive line giving enough time for them to be able to stretch the field vertically. So it all goes with them. When they protect, the receivers are getting open, and Eli's making those throws.
This all started with that challenging of the call by Pat Shurmur. And the overturn, the fumble by Julio Jones, the big strike to Odell Beckham
He's got
Jr.
Odell.
Let's see if he goes to him. Instead, he was looking for Evan Ingram, and you can see the issue with the communication.
You know, Ingram's been out. He's been injured. It's his first game back. And so I think he's a guy they want to get in a matchup situation.
Yeah, but you're going to see it at the top of the screen. These two guys right here, Saquon and Odell. And Eli gets that ball out pretty quickly. They get that pick, and Odell had that one-on-one. They're trying to get possibly Saquon around the back end, match up on a linebacker. Obviously, he likes that.
There's Odell as a number 2 receiver to the near side now. Second and 10. Manning tried to connect with Sterling Shepard, but it'll leave them with 3rd and 10.
You know, in that situation, that's what's kind of been their Achilles heel this year. Is they line up Ingram on the single receiver. Trufant stays out there. Tells you it's going to be zone. So he says, okay, let's run some hook routes. And Shepard, they're on the same page. And he's just wanting him to hook up. It's going to be a soft zone. He knows that pre-snap, and they couldn't hit it. And now it puts you in the 3rd and long. Those small plays making a difference for this offense.
3rd down and 10.
Look for the Falcons to bring some pressure.
We're going to tie this game here in the 3rd quarter. To the end zone, incomplete. As Shepard was begging for a flag. He was covered by KZ.
And that's a good job by the Falcons defensive coordinator, Marquand Manuel. Realize Eli's getting comfortable. He hit the big play. Let's bring some pressure, put a little doubt in his head, and get him on the ground. Nice job there by the Falcons defense.
Yeah, and they brought pull again. Saquon said, you got me once, you're not going to get me again. That was good protection by Saquon.
So it'll be a 36-yard attempt from Rosas. He's a perfect 9 of 9 inside 40 this year. And he puts it through. They cut the lead for Atlanta to 4.
Want more stats? Hey Siri, who leads the league in receiving yards?
Well, that answer would be the Vikings' Adam Thielen, who has 7 straight 100-yard receiving games. There are the elite star attraction receivers of our game tonight. Beckham at 115 right now. Had that 52-yarder. Field goal drive for New York. Remember, Matty Ice mic'd up. Here's the last series from him.
Go! You got to go faster, faster. Good job. I didn't want to lead you.
Well, what do you think he was talking about with the you got to go faster, faster?
Well, he's telling them they're bringing pressure. So you got to get out of that cut. You got to speed everything up because that defender's unblocked. He's constantly coaching on the field.
There is the 11th-season veteran as he finds Sauber, 3rd-string tight end. The 2nd season out of Drake.
You know, even on that other one where he threw it to Justin Hardy on the over, he said, I didn't want to lead you.
Yeah.
Because he's coming on that bootleg, and he knows the corner's out there. And if he leads him, he can get hit, or he doesn't want to do that. So he's smart. Says, I want to put it right on your body, and maybe you have to slide down.
I like how you're sort of like the forensic analyst of the Monday Night Mike. But it just like he's the audio forensic analyst of Monday Night Mike. He's going to go back to the room, stay up till 3 in the morning, listen to the whole thing back, all 3.5 hours of the mic.
Oh, man.
2nd and 2. Coleman, he's met right at those sticks he was trying to get to. And he probably has it depending on this spot here. And they will be moving the chains.
And at some point, I expect this Falcons offense to go back up tempo. Matt Ryan, we've talked about it tonight, loves to call his own plays. When you get in a hurry-up situation, he's in control. They've had their most success tonight, the big touchdown deep to Hardy, when they got in a little bit of a hurry-up. I expect that to happen at some point soon.
Ball start. Offense, number 73. 5-yard penalty and remains first down.
That's Schrader, who's in his 5th straight year as the starting right tackle for the Falcons.
You know, one of the things when you're that aggressive with the play action, we've talked about it a lot, but you got to marry it. And so I give Steve Sarkisian a lot of credit. What I mean by marry it is you got to make your runs look like the pass so that you get the bite out of the linebackers. He's constantly motioning his tight end. That's the way they run out of it. And then, of course, he comes back to the other side.
Everything should look the same. At that point of the pull, the fake, you can't tell run pass if it's perfect. That's the marriage, right?
He's got his running back.
And there he is with Coleman. Tevin Coleman with a big reception inside the 40. 32 yards, Ryan Coleman.
Yeah, he runs 2 crossing routes, and nobody carries Coleman on the back end when he goes a little mini wheel route. So Matt says, okay, I'm going to read the crossing routes. Nobody goes with my back, sneaking out to the flat and turning it up. It's just big plays. And then
play action again.
Action.
And right back to it with Sanu.
Not only the play action, guys, but the tempo. Remember what we talked about, Matt Ryan getting in rhythm. He senses how can he get his offense in rhythm. That's the definition when you talk about an elite quarterback. Understanding what you need to do to get your team in the end zone.
With the backside defensive ends for the Giants, they see this happening. They got to play upfield and get a hit on Matt Ryan. But this defense, they need to get a stop here. They've done a good job holding this powerful offense. Now, you got to help your offense out by getting a stop.
Ryan has hit on his last 7. There's Ito Smith. Nothing there. Remember that interior of the defensive line for New York really fills things up, and then Landon Collins coming in with run support from that safety position.
He plays very well, Joe, Landon Collins, at or near the line of scrimmage. He may be a liability in the back end on coverage, but when you get in between 0 and 10 yards of the line of scrimmage, he's one of the better safeties in the National Football League.
And this 3rd down, if I'm James Bettcher, I want to see him bring pressure, but make it a zone pressure, meaning play zone coverage behind it.
Here's Julio in motion on 3rd and 5. They only bring 3 on Ryan this time, but underneath, and a great tackle by Landon Collins as he takes down fellow Tide player Calvin Ridley. We're going to come to the end of the 3rd quarter. 4-point game. Both teams desperate for this one. Falcons lead on Monday Night Football. Joe, Jason, Boog, and Lisa with you here. Start of the 4th quarter. Falcons leading 10-6 over the Giants and getting set up for a 50-yard field goal attempt from the newly signed Giorgio Tavecchio. There's Matt Bosher, longtime punter and holder. Now, what's critical here is that Tavecchio is left-footed. Bryant, the normal guy, is right-footed, so it turns the snap, hold, kick operation the other way, and they've only had 3 full days to work on it. And now a 50-yard attempt to open up this 4th quarter. Tavecchio from 50. No problem at all. You know, when it comes to foam-filled obstacle course, game show style competitions, nothing beats the Old Spice foam zone. Speaking of that competition, Witt standing by as the host, Anthony Spice Adams.
Hey, Joe. What's up, Jay Witt? I am here with Audrey, fresh off her miraculous win.
How does it feel, Audrey?
It's a full, thick lather that goes on smooth and washes off clean. Any other questions?
No. Congratulations. That's all the time we have. But if you want a recap of the foam zone, you can go to youtube.com/Old Spice. Touchdown lead for the Falcons here as they get the field goal from Tavecchio. Dan Quinn has been dealing with all the injuries to his team this year. Greatly impacted defensively. Told you about the offensive line, as well as Devontae Freeman, a running back who's on the IR. Eli patiently waits for his opportunity. You know, the red zone for the Giants tonight, a couple field goals, and then they went for it on 4th down to turnover on downs.
Yeah, and Atlanta had been bad in the red zone.
Yeah.
Giving up over 77% touchdowns in that area. So good stops by them. But I really think it's about the Giants offense. You know, they got that big play to Odell Beckham, and then they weren't able to capitalize. But their defense held them there. So now you got a one-score ball game. I like what they did on that last series. They were aggressive. They blocked it up, max protection, and took a shot down to Odell Beckham. I look for them to do that again.
But what do you expect out of this Giants offense here?
Well, I think as long as they can protect Eli, I think getting the football to Saquon Barkley at some point has to be paramount. He's their best home run hitter, an elusive generational type back, but he has had a quiet night tonight. At some point, you got to figure Pat Shurmur is going to want to get the ball to Saquon Barkley.
Instead, they go with Odell Beckham on jet motion, and not much there at all as he's run down by Duke Riley. Got a meeting of LSU players there. Riley in his 2nd year out of LSU.
You know, Boog, to your point, you're saying that they want to get the ball to Saquon Barkley. But
right.
One of the things I think they realize with this offensive line, it's going to be really hard for them to put 12, 13, 14 play drives together. And we hand it off to Saquon, you're going to hope that maybe he can just bounce one. But I like their mindset. Try to get a fly sweep, max protection, take their shots. They need a chunk play. They're not good enough up front to go the length of the field.
Here's the one thing we haven't seen. What about Saquon Barkley on a screen pass?
Here it comes with orbit motion. They go with the screen pass instead to Evan Ingram, the long striding tight end who gets a burst, and it'll make for a 3rd and short.
And to your point, Whit, I agree with you with the 12, 13, 14 play drives. I just need to get your best player with the ball in space, and I think Pat Shurmur has to be creative and come up with a way to do that.
And these are tough play calls now because it's 3rd and 2, and you really don't want to run it inside.
Manning on 3rd and 2. Can Barkley get there? A lot of pursuit, and he is taken back by Brian Poole.
You know, that's the situation. This Atlanta defense, the one thing they can do, and they haven't been very good, but this thing is built on speed. And watch these guys. They're trying to just get Saquon in space, read the defensive end. All these guys, Poole, Riley, they close. They're a little undersized, but it's built on speed and effort, and they showed up there on that 3rd down.
Now they'll trot out Riley Dixon, hoping to flip the field and have their defense hold again. And Hardy with the fair catch at about the 35. Frustrating at times, isn't it? But still just a touchdown margin for Shurmur and company. With SVP comes up after the game. He's going to analyze Odell Beckham's night and everything that's been going on. OBJ, LeBron and the Lakers took on the Spurs. And bad beats from the weekend at a Sports Center with SVP on ESPN after we get done here in Atlanta. Ryan, as he checks down to Ito Smith. Now this was the scene just moments ago as Odell Beckham Jr. was running off the field.
Yeah, I don't know if anything was wrong there. Looks like he's running fine. But, you know, he's a difference maker. They're going to need him here in this 4th quarter. But this defense right now, the Giants, they got to get a stop. Help their offense out in this situation with it being a 1-score game.
We'll check in with Lisa on Odell. For now, a 2nd and 1. Play action. Here's the fullback Ortiz just trying to work his way back to the line and then muscling his way. And he's going to be marked just short of that line to make as Ogletree and Jenkins converged on him.
But that's what we were looking for. There's Vernon right here. Watch him on this play action. He's not going to go down the line. Stops right there and look at him. He's right in his face. And when that happens, it's tough on Matt Ryan. Good job getting it out of his hands. But those big plays, that's how you're going to minimize those by those defensive ends.
And you talk about marrying plays with, they haven't run the stretch zone enough for Olivier Vernon to honor that. So nice job by him, realizing you haven't seen that play much tonight and play the boot.
3rd and inches, and they go empty. Maybe he's coming underneath and going to go with the quarterback sneak possibly.
3rd and 1. There it is. And at 6'4", Matt Ryan leans ahead for the first down. Lisa says, don't worry about Odell. Nothing but a bathroom break, Whit.
You know, back in my day, Ted, we would do that on the sideline. I didn't need to go to the back for that. We just kind of sit down on the bench and you do your business and move on. That's what we did.
Boog, that's too much information.
No, it's not. No, seriously. No, listen. All these diva wide receivers wanted to go to the bathroom. As a defensive lineman, we didn't go to the bathroom. You sat on the bench, did your business, and you got up.
Oh, boy.
That's real,
Thank you, Boog.
I mean, that's just real.
Hey, Boog, thank you for being you. Just a yard for Smith. It's a guy that doesn't like water, Odell Beckham Jr.
And if you say that, that becomes a big story. And that's the thing.
Right.
That's the thing that bothers him. Anything that he does in New York becomes a big story. And I asked him the question, hey, are you frustrated by the perception you have? And he said, yes. I said, you also realize you caused that perception. He also said yes. And I think for him to get past the perception is for him to be patient. He's got to be patient and continue doing the right things, especially having a new contract that he has. And
then that guy upstairs you just saw, John Mayer, the co-owner, said, hey, create the headlines with what you do on the field. He's doing that tonight with 115 yards. 2nd and 9. Ryan, just an easy throw to a crossing Julio Jones, who nearly kept his balance. Jenkins got just enough of him.
But you know what? They're trying to bring this pressure, and when they do it, they're playing man-to-man. Well, if you put Julio on a drag, I don't care who the corner is. You're going to see it right here. He has to get through so much traffic. Janoris Jenkins does. He cannot make that play. And he actually has a nice tackle there. Good job. But as time wears on, and you keep playing that type of style, he's going to break one of them.
You know, I would think it would be better if you're going to play man-to-man. Get up on the line of scrimmage where you can get your hands on Julio.
I don't know if that's a good idea. You seen him, Boog?
3rd down and 3. Empty set here. Ryan has hit on his last 11 passes. Make it 12 and make it Calvin Ridley for a first down.
But watch that. They play that man-to-man. It's just stealing for these guys. They get little mini pick routes. The defenders are running through each other, and they can't pass it off. You're going to see them get up, play a little man. Hooper with a nice pick. And there's no way Jenkins can get through that. And you got to help them out. There's got to be a drop in DN, somebody on the inside, linebacker. You can't just allow them to play man-to-man.
Ito Smith patiently waited for that opening and then darted ahead.
But at this situation right now, with where the ball is, and as poorly as your offense has played, not being able to score for the Giants, you've got to stop them here. Because if you allow them to kick this field goal or potentially score, it's a 2-possession game.
2nd and 8 now to the out. And wrestled down was Marvin Hall. Remember, he had the 47-yard touchdown reception in the first half.
You know, you see Jenkins, he's talking a little bit to the coach there. He's not happy over there. I played against Jenkins quite a bit. And the one thing I'll say about him, every once in a while he would get beat on a double move, but he was aggressive, and he challenged you. And you're not seeing that tonight. And it's tough. He's frustrated because he's having to cover these guys all over the field. But on some of those quick outs, I've seen him in the past read it and be aggressive.
He was a Pro Bowler a couple years ago, but he's had some difficult moments this year. Short pitch to Coleman, and look at this hole. Tevin Coleman scoring.
We've been giving James Betcher, the defensive coordinator for the Giants, a lot of praise. His aggressiveness all night. They bring the blitz. You bring Landon Collins off the bottom of the screen. Nice play call by the Falcons. Tevin Coleman cuts it inside. You live by the blitz, and they just dive by it on that play.
They caught him in the perfect look there, Boog. You're exactly right. Trying to bring Landon off that backside. Good call and execution there.
They were 3 for 3 on 3rd downs on the drive, and then Coleman, the 30-yard touchdown run. ESPN's Monday Night Football is brought to you by Mercedes-Benz, the best or nothing. There is the 4-time Formula One world champion, Mercedes-Benz driver, Lewis Hamilton. He's enjoying the game here In fact, he was hanging out pregame with Odell. You guys ever been to Formula One? You ever been to Formula One race?
I have not.
Oh, it's out. Look, you ever been?
No, Boog don't do
Hey,
Formula
listen,
One.
here's the deal. You guys got to come up. You guys got to come up. Boog doesn't do. You got to come up to Montreal with me on a summer weekend for a little Formula One. We're gonna crush Crescent Street up there. Plus, we'll get you a lot of Ferrari swag. You'll like that Ferrari swag. Here's Henderson on the return. It was a big day in both the NFC East and South on Sunday.
It's great to beat Dallas. That's all I care about.
You found out a lot not only about yourself, but your teammates. We didn't blink.
We're going to find out what we're made of now.
Touchdown Saints. That is his 500th touchdown pass.
No good! Justin Tucker has never missed an extra point.
Play long enough, you're going to have a kick that you want back, and tonight was that night for me.
See Justin Tucker's eyes with a missed extra point.
You think he was surprised? And we've seen him practice and play before. Guy's incredible. What was it, like 243 of 243 extra points?
Incredible. Most reliable guy you'll ever see. Here's Barkley as he gets back up and then spins ahead and kept his balance. See that athleticism for Barkley. So here we are with the NFC East. You know, Giants sitting here. They're hoping for something in the fourth quarter to try to rally. They're sitting at 1-5. And then it's the Skins at 4-2. Eagles, they gave up that big comeback to Carolina. Well, what do you think of the NFC East right now?
Well, it's wide open. And, I mean, I say that knowing that the Skins are now 4-2. But we saw them play against the New Orleans Saints a few weeks back. They didn't look that great, but you got to give them a lot of credit because their defense is playing at a high level.
So is this guy. When he does stuff like that, Barkley darting through. Please continue.
Yeah, but you know, and the offense is doing enough. Alex Smith, they don't really have a wide receiver one like we talked about a few weeks back. But to beat Dallas the way they did, to get to 4-2, but I still feel like that division's wide open right now.
Well, you know who now does have a wide receiver one? The Dallas Cowboys.
Absolutely.
Amari Cooper traded today from Oakland for a first rounder. So, Boog, I put it to you as fighting ahead this time, and getting that is Benny Fowler. Boog, does Cooper put them in position now, Dallas, to make a move here in the East?
Well, I think what Cooper does is give Dak Prescott a weapon. And so now when you start to evaluate him as a franchise quarterback, he now has a wide receiver one. As it pertains to the NFC East, Joe, I like where Washington is. Now, they don't match up against the Saints or the Rams because of their explosive offense, but they can match up with anybody else. And they understand who they are, that being the Redskins. They're physical up front on offense, they're physical on defense, and I like where they are. And I also disagree with Doug Peterson when he says there's no pressure on the Eagles. There's a lot of pressure on those guys.
Whistles come in.
Timeout. Atlanta. They're first.
6:04 remaining. Giants desperate for a rally here. Tonight's aerial coverage is brought to you by Goodyear. Beautiful night as the roof is open here in Atlanta. Falcons lead 20-6. You know, the Giants have now trailed for 280 minutes this season, the most of any team in the league. Manning on first down as he finds Barkley, who rolls his way ahead inside the 30. He's cut down by Beasley, 15 yards there.
Good read by Eli there. You saw Vic Beasley, the defensive end. He was standing up. Eli knew he was in coverage, and so he says, I got Barkley in this one-on-one matchup. He took advantage of it. Shot time. Time to take a shot here.
And it just checked down underneath. That was nearly intercepted. It went right into the gut of Campbell, and he couldn't hold on to it.
You know, they get the big play from Barkley, and they try to come back. They're going to take a little bit of a shot. And he has no time. I mean, you're going to see him here. He escapes a little bit. He's got no chance. See Wheeler just tackled. They probably should have called a penalty on the offensive tackle there.
Well, it's kind of danger time for this offensive line, Whit, because there's no threat of the run. The guys from Atlanta are pinning their ears back. This is danger time for Eli Manning and the offensive line. He's got to get the ball out quick.
An offensive line that has struggled so much this year. Their third center tonight. Greco kicked over to right guard. And 4 sacks already tonight. Gets it out. What an effort by Beckham Jr. to go up and get that.
What a throw and catch. He has such a good awareness for the sideline, getting those feet down. And you're going to see this. How about Saquon coming across there, picking up the blitz? Good awareness, good communication, and now they have this ball in this situation. Take advantage of it. Inside the red zone, they haven't been good down here tonight.
Eli Manning in the red zone tonight. 1 of 6 passing for 4 yards.
And Beckham's got one-on-one.
Make it 1 of 7.
And, you know, Beckham is turning at the ref because he feels like he got hit at the top of the route. There was a little bit of contact. In this league, if you watch Trufant, yeah, he's got him, but watch at the top of the route. Just a little bit of contact right there. Probably should have been a call, and Beckham gets frustrated. He turns towards the refs and, hey, I deserve that call. I'm one of the best receivers in the National Football League.
Yeah, well, Odell was really trying to use his body. You see him lean back to the right there before he made that cut coming in.
Yeah.
And that's Trufant grabbed the back of the jersey. It's hard for him to get separation in that situation.
2nd and 10. Going up again on a similar out route, and Beckham does it again. Tapping those toes before the sideline, 15 yards.
Yeah, and good job by them getting him inside. They call this the old scissors play. You're going to see it right there. Ingram takes off the top end of the coverage, and Odell comes back out, moving him around. That's what Pat Shurmur's done a good job this year, especially here tonight.
Gotta have it. Barkley.
He's got it. Looks like it.
Touchdown, Giants.
Yep.
Fifth rushing touchdown of the season for Saquon Barkley.
Good run there by Saquon, just understanding using his legs to drive in behind his lineman. But what a drive by the Giants.
Had to have it.
Yeah, I mean, it shows that they're a resilient group. I mean, they haven't done much here when they got down in the red zone, but the entire drive, going hurry up, you know, it always used to drive me crazy as an offense when we'd wait.
We'll go under review.
When we would wait, you know, until late in the game to like really start attacking down the field. But you got to give them credit, the Giants. Eli taking command out there, really good drive, and big time touchdown.
They're going to review this, and we'll take a break. Ruling on the field is that the touchdown stands, and the Giants offense is staying out there for a 2-point attempt. An extra point would make this a 7-point game.
He's got Beckham one-on-one at the top of the screen there. You're going to see him right here. He's one-on-one.
Maybe a slant.
Incomplete. He looked for Beckham. Alford was with him. It's incomplete. It's an 8-point margin as Pat Shurmur decided to go for 2.
Well, that's the thing I don't understand. I'm really not sure. As Odell Beckham tries to go to the corner, a little corner stop, comes back, has it, but then drops it. I'm not understanding why you go for 2 there. If you kick the extra point, it's 20-13 and you make it, it's a 7-point game. Is there something wrong with the kicker? If there's not, that is a very questionable coaching decision there. To go for 2 when an extra point will make this a touchdown game.
Yeah, and you know, we don't know about the injury right now, if there's possibly that existing. But one thing I can say, only thing I can think of why you would go for 2 in that situation, I'm just trying to think like what's going through Pat Shurmur's mind in this point. And all I can think of is if you do get that 2-point conversion and your defense gets a stop and then you score, you're going for the win, right? And that's all I can think of in that situation.
Now there's the kicker, Roses. So that answers your question.
Well, here's the thing, Whit. When you've lost,
they need a win.
Right. When you've lost 18 out of your last 22 games, can you afford to roll the dice in that situation? That is, in my opinion, that's a terrible move by Pat Shurmur.
Next week, we're going to be up in Buffalo. We'll see Tom Brady and those red-hot Patriots taking on the Bills. Kickoff at 8:15 Eastern. You know, it's been a long time since Monday Night Football has been to that atmosphere up in Buffalo. Got to go back to November of 2008. Bills Browns back then. Brady has owned the Bills through the years, 28-4. So we will catch up on the Patriots up there in Western New York.
Hey, Tess, do we have a weather report up there yet?
Well, Bo, you're already complaining about next week.
I'm just asking, do we have the weather yet?
We'll get you the advanced forecast there, Bo. Here's Ryan, and here's Jones, and there he goes, adding to his total tonight.
Joe, you talked about earlier the faith throws.
Yep.
That's why it's a faith throw. Level 1. Alec Ogletree got his hand up, middle linebacker. You're going to see him. He's going to go there. He drops back. He sees it, gets his fingertip on it. But what a catch by Julio. They stay aggressive. A lot of times you think, okay, they're going to go into 4-minute offense and grind it out. Not the Falcons. Play action.
Boog, you're going to get a high of 45 during the day in Buffalo, rain, and a low of 37 at night.
Yeah, Boog don't do rain either. I'm just being honest. I'll keep telling y'all that.
It's a great environment up there, though. I played
It really is.
Played in a Monday night game up there in 2007.
Oh, you had a classic game up there in 07 with. Here is Coleman being run down. Good pursuit by the Giants defensive front. That was Jenkins getting involved.
Yeah, and that's a good play there. Getting a tackle for loss, forcing him out of bounds, saving your timeouts. This defense has got to come up big. We said that a lot. Your offense went down and got a score. It's still a one-score game, right? Whether we like the call of going for 2 or not,
right.
Still a one-score game. That'll be determined. So this defense needs to get a stop. And they have to think about Julio Jones. When they get in these situations, the man coverage, I do not think that's a good idea for the Giants defense right now.
The Giants need some pressure up front. This offensive line was struggling, especially at the guard spot. Somebody inside's got to win.
Pressure off the edge against Ryan. He throws to that side. And here is Ridley trying to work his way back as Eli Apple was the first to get to him.
And Sark does such a good job with what he does with his running back, starting him out wide, come back into the backfield. And the reason they do that is it just allows them to pre-snap see it. Is it zone? Is it man? And it's playing it through.
Now, right now we have an 8-point margin because Pat Shurmur, instead of deciding to kick the extra point, make it 7, this was the moment where he said go for 2.
Yeah, like I said to you guys, all I can think of is that if his defense got to stop and they were able to convert it, and then they go down and score, it goes to winning. You know, talking about how bad they need to win.
Right.
Well, the head coach got real aggressive with that mindset.
But Whit, that's the thing, though. You can't do that when your defense is playing this hard and fighting the way they are. Pat Shurmur cannot make that move. I'll say it again. Terrible coaching decision by Pat Shurmur.
3rd and 9. This is the stop the defense has to give them. Ryan, complete and stretching for it was Ridley. What an effort there as Apple had him wrapped up and Ridley stretched ahead.
And what about Ridley? Rookie receiver, but he does not act like it. The ability to go make these plays at critical times. He's been incredible on 3rd down. You see him there at the top of the screen. Little hitch route. Reaching for it to assure that they get the 1st down. That's the best thing about this guy. You see him on 3rd down, the big catches he's had. He came in tonight. I think it was 8 for 8 on 3rd downs, all of them converting.
That's right.
For 1st downs.
And that is his 3rd down catch tonight.
As we're watching this Giants team, we've talked about and documented the offensive line.
You see the knee right there, by the way, Boog.
Without a doubt. Defensively, I think we've seen where Atlanta wants to attack. They want to attack the corners. You beat Jenkins on the deep route for a touchdown. Eli Apple has had a penalty. You beat him there on a critical 3rd down. Attack the corners in critical situations. That's been the game plan tonight for the Atlanta Falcons.
There's a 1st down for Atlanta.
They're going to grind it out and run it, I think. Nope.
Oh, love the play action. Love it.
Well, that's an extended run when you have Matt Ryan.
What
he
awareness.
goes to Justin Hardy.
And
Matt Ryan has now had 17 straight completions. He's hit on his last 17.
That's incredible. And what an aggressive call there. You know, I thought maybe they get a conservative in that 2 tight end set. But Hardy's ability to understand, don't go out of bounds, dive down like he does here at the end of the play. Good awareness. Keep that clock running.
That's 1 short, by the way. The 17 straight that he's hit on is 1 short of his career high. Steve Sarkisian, Matt Ryan. We had a great visit with both guys this weekend, and it's just different this year. Yeah, they're connecting.
They are. They're on the same page. And I think a big reason for that is, and we mentioned it earlier, Bug, that, you know, Sark was running Kyle Shanahan's offense last year, and he thought, oh, I can learn it. You know, I've been in a lot of numerous amount of systems, but it doesn't work that way. You know, it's in the heat of the battle. You want it to roll off your tongue and make those calls. And so It started early in the offseason. They talked about the red zone, what they need to do better, how they want to change the motions, the calls, the system. And it's showing up. They're playing at a high level.
And I just love where Sark is right now. A coach that's battled alcoholism. Now he's back. He's calling plays. He feels comfortable. And he has this offense back clicking again the way they were almost in 2016.
Looks like a false start.
False start. Offense, number 81. 5-yard penalty. Remains second down.
And I think it's going to be big. Steve Sarkisian has to continue to implement his game plan. Matt Ryan is an elite quarterback. I think we can put that conversation to bed. So you have the best trio of receivers in the National Football League with an elite quarterback. You have to be able to put up a ton of points. The way they're doing in L.A. with Jared Goff in that offense, the Atlanta Falcons should be able to do the same thing.
This is huge for this Giants defense, though. No timeouts in this situation. You've got to get a stop right here.
2nd and 6. There's Ito Smith. And Smith will be a yard short. So it'll be 3rd and 1.
You know, this is probably 2-down territory for the Falcons.
Just put a nail on it if they do.
Yeah.
And not only that, if you're going to go for it on 4th down, maybe you try to put the game away right now with a little play action on 3rd down with.
Yeah, you could, for sure. But I think they just stick it up in there, keep the clock running, grind it out, get a run inside. If you don't get it, you do it again on 4th down.
Oh, a lot of finger pointing.
That's all offensive.
Yeah.
It looked like a little movement.
False start.
Yep.
Offense, number 73. 5-yard penalty. Remains 3rd down.
Maybe just what the Giants needed there.
Yeah, and the Giants need to stop right here. You know, with it being this, getting a little bit of a break, it was going to be hard to stop them in that 3rd and short. You got to think Petcher's going to bring some pressure. You got to make Matt Ryan feel uncomfortable. You talked about that stat, how many passes he completed in a row. You got to get him off his spot. And that's the guy to do it, Olivier Vernon.
Here they come. He sees it. He's checking.
See if they back off. No, it is double A gap pressure against Ryan. Gets it out, and Hooper is going to be wrapped up by Riley. Short. Only got 3 out of that. Good job by Curtis Riley.
Riley saw it. He knew that they're going to attack him there. Coming from the sky, all the way back at free safety. Good awareness and good closing speed.
So we're nearing the 2-minute warning here. The Falcons facing a 4th down in that no man's land, looking to close out the game when we return to Atlanta for Monday Night Football. Falcons are going to attempt a 56-yarder from Tavecchio.
Yeah, I'm really surprised he's doing it. He's got a lot of confidence in this young man, because if he misses it, great field position. No timeouts for the Giants. You're up 8. I would potentially pooch punt this, back them up, and see if Eli Manning and this beat-up offense and that offensive line can go down the length of the field.
Look, what do you think of Dan Quinn's decision here to send out Tavecchio, who they just signed this week, for a 56-yarder to seal this game?
Well, he's got to have confidence, and he's had to have seen and made some of these in practice. So if the kid can make it, you basically end the game right here. I like being aggressive, especially when you're 2 and 4.
He was 3 of 4 from 50-plus last year, his season with the Raiders. Just signed this week.
That's a gutsy decision.
I like gutsy, baby.
So does Dan Quinn with a fist pump. Giorgio Tavecchio.
Says a lot about Dan Quinn. He said he liked this football team. He knew they were 2 and 4, and defensively they weren't playing well. But he had a lot of belief in them. And that shows up right there, ending that ball game here tonight with that kick and that young kicker.
So think about Tavecchio's night now. He steps in for Bryant. He's hit from 40, 50, and then 56.
And Dan Quinn's giving him a hug over there on the sidelines. He's saying, I'm proud of you, man. You made me look good.
Yeah.
But, you know, it goes to that. You know, and that says a lot about Dan Quinn. I probably would have punted it away there with no timeouts, the Giants, not giving the ball close to midfield. But it says a lot about Dan Quinn's belief in his football team. He knows where he's at, right? And they've had 5 of 6 games come down to games like this, whether it's the last drive. And they haven't always won it. Their defense hasn't been able to get stops. And so he says, I don't even want to put it in my defense's hands to make that decision or have to get a stop.
And 5 of their 6 games came down to the final play. There's Henderson on the return. Of NFC South, I mean, the Saints offense and what Carolina was able to do yesterday against Philly. And there are the Falcons looking to get win number 3 here tonight. That is as competitive a division as you're going to see.
Yeah, and the leader in the clubhouse is the Saints at 5-1, and Carolina was able to get back in it with a big win, you know, against Philadelphia. But, you know, they can stand. There's a lot of football to play, and with Matt Ryan and this offense and the weapons they have, if the defense can come on, they are a talented group. You can get back in this thing.
So here's Eli taking a shot downfield and getting it with Shepard.
And you know what? That's why Dan Quinn kicked the field goal. We saw it in New Orleans when they played them. Drew Brees scoring, sending it to overtime, and then going down on the first drive for a touchdown. His offense didn't even get the football. It happened against Cincinnati. Scoring on the last second. He said he didn't want to chance that. He went with the young
yards
kicker.
there. Sterling Shepard has 161 yards tonight.
Ingram got him.
Had to go to the outside at Ingram just to have an attempt on that ball as he was well covered by Brian Poole.
You know, Ingram coming back from injury, he's been a matchup nightmare. To be outside, he's a guy they want to keep. It's basically an isolated fade route. You put him one-on-one. Talking to Marquand Manuel, they said they were going to treat Ingram like a wide receiver when he was in the game and give him that star attention.
But that's one of the things they have to clean up, the fundamentals. And Ingram's a young, talented player. But in that situation, he just released outside, and the corner can close. You got to press it vertical and then get separation at the top of the route. It's the little things for this offense.
Eli able to extend the play and then crossing underneath is Shepard again, adding to his total. As we're under a minute and a half to play, Giants have exhausted their timeouts, trailing by 11.
Shepard may have overthought that one a little bit. He caught it inside. I think if he just would have kept running, possibly could have scored there. He tried to slow down. I don't like that decision.
Keep your stride, see what happens. 3rd and 4. Underneath and stretching for the goal line. Ball popped out at the end there, but they are ruling it down as Rhett Ellison goes for 7 yards.
He's down right there.
No doubt.
Yeah.
Clock keeps moving. Eli, quarterback sneak, and he is wrapped up. He hardly went anywhere there. And that's going to cost them precious time, Bo.
Right, and here's the problem with that play. Yeah, you'd like to sneak it in, but when you don't get it now, valuable seconds are ticking off the clock. Eli's got to be more aware of that.
Yeah, and on the first down, you can potentially clock it there.
Again. Back-to-back quarterback sneaks that go absolutely nowhere, and the clock just continues to bleed away.
You're not even giving yourself a chance of giving an onside kick here in a little bit.
It's just terrible play calling here by the Giants.
This thing's under 10 seconds. As Beckham comes up with it for the score with just 5 seconds remaining after the back-to-back quarterback sneaks.
Yeah, so good with his feet there, back to the end zone. But my goodness, the time management there. When you've got that completion to your tight end, Ellison, immediately it's first down. I'm clocking it, right? I'm saving that time. I'll give myself 3 attempts down here. If we can't score on the 1-yard line or half-yard line with 3 attempts, we don't need to be in the game. But I'm saving the time in that situation.
And Whit, you got to think that's on Eli Manning. He's not looking to the sideline to call a quarterback sneak. That is strictly on Eli Manning, thinking he can make a play. And as a veteran 37-year-old quarterback, you got to be more aware.
Well, here's the 2-point conversion attempt. Remember, they failed on one earlier. They're going to run Barkley this time, and Barkley's going to take it in. But only 5 seconds remain. They wasted over 40 seconds with Eli twice down there at the goal line.
It's unacceptable, you know, and it's happening throughout the league. You know, you don't know what can happen with these onside kicks and get it going against this defense. Give yourself a chance. And as soon as you get that first down, as a coach, you got to be communicating in there. Hey, clock it right away, or at least throw a quick fade. If you don't clock it, the ball's got to come out. So it's either touchdown or it's incomplete. But you got to get that clock to stop. And you're seeing it around the league. Teams are not doing a good job at critical times of the game.
Hey, Boogie, give yourself a chance, give yourself time. You can get the onside kick. Listen, entering tonight's game, there have only been 2 successful onside kicks league-wide. The Giants have one of them. They did it against Dallas. League-wide, it's 2 of 19, and the Giants have pulled off an onside kick.
And you wonder why you're 1-5. I mean, let's just take a look at this. You have Pat Shurmur going for 2 when you can make it a 1-score game. And then you have Eli Manning, your quarterback, running 2 quarterback sneaks. And you wonder why your team is 1-5 with no timeouts. You wonder why.
You know, there are a lot of people that say, hey, using the league average conversion percentage, it's not necessarily the wrong call to go for 2 in a spot like this, as they recover it easily with Julio Jones. But listen, the simple math is that it's the clock management there at the end of the game that I think a lot of people are going to jump on.
Yeah, and Boog, I'm with you on the going for 2. I understand what you're saying, but, you know, it still was a 1-score game there in that situation. I mean, you know, whether he should have kicked it or not, we would have had to wait to find out.
Right.
Then on the next possession, if they would have gone for 2, if they got it or not. And my situation is that it goes back to that when you get that first down.
Right.
And you had some time there, right, in that situation, because were they rolling it down or rolling it a touchdown? You immediately got to make a decision. Even if you don't clock it, it's a quick fade on the outside. It's a quick slant so that it's either touchdown or incomplete pass, and then you regroup with 50 seconds on the clock, not 5.
But that's on Eli, though, Whit. You got to think Eli's the guy who's got to make that call.
Matt Ryan went for 379 yards, and he hit on his final 18 pass attempts. And for the Giants, they're now 1-6. They were 1-6 last year as well, and they finished 3-13. The Falcons get win number 3, much needed, 23-20. Next week, we're going to have Tom Brady and the Patriots on Monday Night Football up at Buffalo. Stay tuned for the GMC post-game report on SportsCenter. For Whit and Boog and Lisa, I'm Joe Tessitore saying enjoy the rest of your night, including time with my man SVP to preview what's coming up on SportsCenter.
Well, that was rather significant, wasn't it? How many of you were impacted there at the end? Did you win? Did you? Also, some curious play calls from Pat Shurmur. What was that onside kick? What were they doing? We'll get to the road ahead for Atlanta and what that looks like as well. Plus, updates from the West Coast. LeBron looking for his first win as a Laker. They will need a rally against the Spurs, and it's Monday, which means bad beats. Perhaps some of you just experienced one. Show starts in 3 minutes.
ESPN thanks you for watching this presentation of the National Football League.